Hi Silem stars, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to teach you guys how to drape on a corset dress. If you're new here, by the way, please subscribe down below. It's free and it helps my channel grow. So like I said, we're going to be talking about draping on a corset. I already have tons of corset tutorials, so if you want to learn how to make a corset, I'm going to leave the link to that tutorial playlist in the description box down below. I also have a corset class available that you can learn directly with me. It's online, so wherever you are in the world, you can learn how to make a corset with me. Okay, so without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there.
So this right here is the corset dress we're going to be working with. This is a corset with a yoke. Okay, it has a regular waistline, it has a slit as well. Now this dress was inspired by a designer called Madoper Atelier. I don't know if I pronounced the name correctly, but I'm going to put her Instagram username on the screen, and I'm also going to put a picture of the original design right here on the screen. So my client saw this design and then she wanted me to recreate it. Okay, and that is what I have done, or that is what I am doing. So now I've gone ahead to sew the corset. We've attached the yoke, bonings, and all of that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I've already gone ahead to cut out a bit of the lace I'm going to be using to drape. So the draping starts from the back zipper here and it comes all the way to this side, and the other one as well is draped from here, from this waist here, and then it goes to the back. Okay, now I went ahead to pin this at the back because this is not the mannequin size. Okay, but I'm going to take note of the fact that it's going to start from the zipper area here. I haven't attached my zipper. That's because I want to drape and get it right here before I attach my zipper. So I'm going to start from the one that starts from the zipper allowance there all the way to the front, to this side of the slit. Okay, because that one is easier to drape. So this is roughly about a yard. I'm going to be using this one for the other side. Now this one is about roughly half a yard, as you can see, like this. So when it comes to draping, there are actually different ways to drape. Okay, one way is the flat draping, okay, or flat draping method. In this method, you basically do all the draping and all the gathering on your fabric or on your dress piece on a table or by itself. You don't do it on any form. Okay, so this mannequin is a form, although it's not a dress form, but it is a form because it has the figure of a human body. Does that make sense? So this is a form, the same way that a dress form is a form. Okay, in the same way your body is a form. Okay, so if I call in my clients now for a fitting and I decide to drape this on her body, that is a different type of draping. Now with that type of draping, you're draping on a form. It may be a mannequin, it may be a dress form, or it could be on the client. So ideally, the best way to use that method is draping on the client's body. Okay, so draping on the body of the client, on the body of the person that is going to be wearing the dress. It could be you could drape on yourself, although it might be technical to drape on yourself. So you could get someone to drape, to help you drape on yourself, if that makes sense. Or you could get someone to drape the dress on you. But the ideal way of draping when it comes to using a form is draping on the actual person that is going to wear it. Now the next best thing is draping on a dress form. Now when it comes to a dress form is pinnable or mostly pinnable. There are actually dress forms that are not pinnable. Now a dress form also has the shape or the figure of the person that is going to wear it. Now if you are a size 8 and you're trying to drape a dress like a size 12 dress on a size 8 dress form, you may not get the actual results that you want to get because you are draping on a dress form that is not the same figure or the same size with the actual dress that you're draping on. I hope that makes sense. So when it comes to using a dress form, you want to get your dress form to look as identical as possible to the person that is going to wear it. And that's why ideally, if you're making a size 8 dress, you should be draping that on a size 8 dress form. In the same vein, if you're making a size 12 dress, you should be draping that on a size 12 dress form. Size 12 dress form. Now alternatively, you can actually pad your dress form. If it's smaller, you can pad it so it now becomes a larger size. So you can pad a size 8 dress form to become a size 12, for instance. Okay, you can also use a mannequin to drape, although it is not ideal, it is not advisable because it is not pinnable. The mannequin is not pinnable, that's number one. And number two, the mannequin doesn't really have the shape of an actual person. Now with a dress form, with a size 8 dress form, the dress form is close enough to an actual size 8 person. But the mannequin, even if you get a mannequin that is a size 8, the measurements may still be far away from an actual size 8 person. I hope that makes sense. However, guys, I have a mannequin and I want to drape this dress. I have told you guys the ideal thing, but then again, this is what I have and this is what I'm going to be using to drape this dress. I'm still going to get amazing results because I'm going to find a way to work around using a mannequin to drape. Now when it comes to using a mannequin to drape, you want to, because the mannequin is not pinnable like I said, you want to see how you can pin on the dress and not on the mannequin. Obviously the pins are not even going to go into the mannequin, so you can't even pin the mannequin. However, you can actually try to pin on the dress, to pin the draping fabric on the dress that you're making it with. And when it comes to the actual dress, before you move on to the mannequin to drape, you want to make sure that you have sewn the dress to actually be the measurement of the client that you are making the dress for. I hope I'm making sense. But anyway, let us start with the draping process. So this is the one I'm going to be using to drape from the back all the way to the front. So we're going to turn this. Now, whether you are draping on a mannequin or on a dress form or even on your client, you want to use a lot of pins because pins are literally what is going to hold the draped fabric to the form or to the dress, pending when you can actually take it off the form and then sew it. Okay, so we're taking it like this now, and then we're placing this right here, the top part of this. We're just going to go ahead and pin it at the top part of our zipper right there. So we'll just pin this. Okay, and now because we have a bit of a drape, we need to drape. So we're just going to go ahead and fold this up. Now before I started anything, I made sure to just fold the edge a bit of the fabric so that it has a neat finish there. I'm just going to go ahead and just pin this part right here so that this part stays put. So now that we have that done, what we're going to do next is we're just going to go ahead and just create the drapes. Now when you think of the word drape, you should think of the word pleat, okay, or gather. So now we're going to try to create that gathered effect. Okay, just going to create pleats all the way to create that ruched effect. Okay, can you see what we have here? Can you see what this is? So we have that ruched effect. So we just created simple tiny pleats. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and pin. So can you see what we have here? So we've gone ahead to drape this. Can you see how lovely the ruched effect is? Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to take this one here, and then we want this to just drop right there in front. Okay, we want this to just drop right there in front. So we want to pin here as well. So once it pins here, we're going to try to see how we can pin by the side of the slit as well, because we don't want this to cover our slits. So in addition to pinning, you can also go ahead and use your needle and thread to sew it in place. So what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and use my needle and my thread to just sew this part here. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Can you see what the side is looking like? I want to go ahead and just sew this in place. Okay, now when you're sewing this with your needle and thread, make sure that you're sewing it to the dress and you're not just sewing the draped fabric. Okay, you can make a mistake and simply be catching just the draped fabric with your needle, or make sure that you're getting to the dress as well so that you're securing the draped fabric to the dress. Now one of the advantages of hand sewing when you are draping compared to sewing your sewing machine, now this is more convenient, it's more flexible, I can just see where I want to secure it, and I just go ahead and do that, okay? But with the sewing machine, you're struggling to pass the entire dress under that footer, so you're kind of restricted with movement. And then by the time you move it under the footer, you may actually move away from the part that you actually want to secure to the dress. I hope that makes sense. So basically, when it comes to draping, it's a good practice to try to hand sew as much as you can. Now, even if you're draping on your clients, you can actually also hand sew as long as you're not poking them with a needle. So I've gone ahead to sew this part here. I hand sewed it. Now I'm going ahead to just sew this part that I had pinned initially to the zipper allowance. So can you see the zipper allowance right here? So now that I'm done with that, I can now cut out this lace. So this net, the excess net, just cutting that out. Okay, so can you see what we have so far, guys? Can you see how this looks? It looks really good. So can you see that it just drapes nicely and goes on to the front and then literally just drops in front. Okay, so with that, we're actually done with this side. The only thing left now is just to secure this part here. Okay, so secure this right here so it just sits nicely on the slits. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and secure this right here. Okay guys, so as you can see, we're done with one side. Okay, can you see what it looks like? It drapes from the zipper all the way. It's secured by the side and then it just falls nicely in front, and it's just beside the slit. It's not covering the slits. So now we're going to go ahead and drape the other side. Now this other side is a bit more technical than this side. So for this other side, we're going to be using about a yard of the lace. Okay, so what I did was I held the fabric at the top right corner. Okay, by holding it there, the fabric drapes naturally. Now once I did that, I just went ahead to just pin it to the waist there. Okay, and once I had it pinned at the waist, I just went ahead to just see how I could play around with the fabric to get the drape that I actually wanted. Okay, so once we've gone ahead to pin this right there, we're just going to see how we can just lightly drape it. So when it comes to draping, you want to play around with the fabric. Okay, so I'm just pinning this by the side. So we've gotten a lovely drape right here. Can you see how lovely the fabric folds? Now that I've pinned the sides, what I'm going to do now is just see how I can just drape, okay, and then pin as I drape, okay, so that the pleats stay in place. Okay, now by pinning it in place, I'm sure that the draped fabric will not cover my slits. Okay, so this is basically what our dress is looking like. Okay, so guys, this is the following day. So as you can see, I went ahead to just drape the rest of the fabric all the way to the zipper allowance, okay, so that it matches the other side as well. And I also trimmed off the excess fabric in a curved way, as you can see. All right, so can you see now that both drapes, they look identical at the back because they are both draping towards the zipper allowance, which is exactly what I want. So when I put my zipper, it looks really nice. So now that we're done with the bottom drape, now let's move on to the drape at the top. Now for this top one, I just cut a fabric that's about 20 inches wide by 15 inches long, and I just created the pleats. Like I explained earlier, draping is majorly creating pleats or gathers. So I just did that, and then I pinned it on both sides to secure it. Okay, now once I had exactly what I wanted, I went ahead to use my needle and thread to just secure those pleats on the bust, because if you don't secure it on the bust, it's really going to move and you don't want the drape to move. And this is what it looks like up close. I really love how it looks already. This is how lovely it looks. This lace is fully beaded, guys, so imagine the amount of work it took me to hand sew all of these drapes and everything. Like, anyway, let's move on to the sleeves. The sleeve width is 19 inches and the length is 10 inches. So I just went ahead to just pin that to the side of the bust drape, and then I took that all the way to the back and I pinned this to the to where I have the eyelets, so close to where I have the eyelets there. And then obviously all the places I pinned, I went back again to use my needle and my thread to sew it in. I didn't use my sewing machine for any of this draping, I use my needle and thread throughout, because since the lace was a beaded lace, I didn't want to risk breaking lots of machine needles. But this is what the dress looks like, guys. I am so excited. My client really, really loved it. This is my beautiful client and her husband, and this is what my client had to say about her dress. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.